subhanallah, you know.
MashaAllah. May Allah bless you, Aki. That's true. Sabur, do you want to bring in Jay Rai while we wait?
Yep. Welcome, Jay, and thank you for that, Abbas. Welcome, Jay Rai, to SC Dawah Live. What you've been hearing so far?
Oh, hi, good evening. Been listening for you about half an hour or so.
Okay.
Just had a quick question. Now, I've been hearing from the critics that they said that Prophet Muhammad, that Islam started small and will end up small. That was my question.
It started small and will become small. I think you may be referring to...
Yeah. I think
that it started off as a strange matter, right?
Yeah. That's right. Yes, something like that. Yes.
Yeah. So what would be the question?
Oh, that will Islam be, end up small, like a tiny minority in the future? Is that what the predictions is?
So we believe that before the day of judgment, after the Prophet Isa alayhi salam, Prophet Jesus will come back again to defeat the Antichrist. We believe that at that point, the whole of the world, everybody will accept Islam because they will see the miracles of Jesus, the miracles of Isa alayhi salam. And shortly after that, we believe that within a very short time, religiosity because we believe that Prophet Jesus, peace be upon him, will live, will marry, will have children, who will die, he will taste death, just as every soul will taste death. And then, before the day of judgment, religion and the belief in God Almighty will again become a strange thing. In other words, people will fall back into disbelief. So that this is just before the day of judgment. However, the Prophet ﷺ said that this religion, Islam, will enter every household. In other words, people will accept it in every part of the world, and every household will have Islam reach it and people will accept it. But what you're referring to is just prior to the day of judgment. But up until that point, Islam is said to flourish, and it will reach every house basically, and it will supersede every other belief system. This is what we believe.
Oh, right, great. Because I was hearing two different things. I don't know which one was the correct.
Okay, Jay. Are you of a Muslim background, Jay?
No, I'm a Hindu background.
I see. Okay. Have you ever looked into Islam? Or are you looking into it currently?
I used to listen to, years back when Zakir Naik,
MashaAllah, yeah.
On Peace TV. I used to watch a lot of that.
Mm-hmm. And did you find yeah, go ahead, yeah.
Sorry, yeah, carry on.
No, I was just saying, did you find the answers convincing?
Well, when I was younger, I found him amazing, Zakir Naik. I was impressed by him. But later on, then I heard other people, and I found out that Zakir Naik wasn't being quite honest. He was a bit of a showman, a charismatic preacher. He would say anything which would make him look good or make his points.
I think you'll find a lot of different opinions out there. But what do you think of Islam at the moment, Jay?
I honestly don't know, because I see Muslims say that they got science and technology, they got everything in the Quran. But if you look at the Muslim world, they get all the science, the technology, art from the West.
Oh, how long ago was that from?
So the thing is, look, firstly, the claim that Muslims make about the truthfulness of Islam is independent of whether Muslims are involved in science or they're not involved in science. I mean, those things they're completely separate. So what we would say is that the truthfulness of Islam is proved by the text of Islam. And what does Islam actually teach? So Islam's basic core teaching is that there is one absolute almighty creator, and that Lord, that God, that deity is the only one worthy of worship, and all of our acts of worship should be directed to God alone. And that is the fundamental claim of Islam, which distinguishes it from every other religion and theology. And that for us would be the most important, unique selling point of Islam. And then, people have tried to argue about the miraculous nature of the Quran through the linguistic miracle, the prophecies, and all sorts of various ways. But those would be supplementary. The main thing would be the theology, because if the theology was not correct, then all of these miracles would be superfluous. So let's stick to the fundamentals here. What do you think about Islam's fundamental claim on the unity of God? And in regards to your own beliefs as a Hindu, what do you believe about the concept of God?
Well, no, that's fine. If you believe in God, one God, that's good and that makes sense. I agree with that. But I was told loads of things which sold me Islam, like scientific miracles of the Quran, for example, which sold. I was all for that. I thought that was amazing. But then later on, I got told that this are all false claims to sell Islam. So I don't know what else.
So let's go back to this. Let's just assume that you were told the Quran says X by a Muslim, right? And it turned out not to be the case. And they said to you, the Quran predicted cryptocurrency, that cryptocurrency was going to come, and you accepted Islam based upon the idea that Islam 1400 years ago made the prediction that the world will have Bitcoin and Stellar and all these cryptos coming out. And then you later on found out that Muslim was not speaking the truth. Now, I'm not making a claim against anyone here. I'm just saying hypothetically, this was the case. This wouldn't in any way mean Islam is false. It would simply mean that the way that you came to Islam was not true. Now, let's go back again to what I was saying. It's not simply the case that we as Muslims say that there's one God, right? We say that there is one God who is nothing like the creation, who's the only one worthy of worship, who's distinct and disjoint from creation. He's not part of creation. So in terms of that belief is independent of your experience with listening to someone, and then afterwards not believing them because you believe there was counter evidence to that. So let's stick to that first, because that's the most important thing. Because essentially, Jay, we do these live streams because we want to save people from hellfire. We believe in paradise, we believe in hellfire, we believe the most important thing is theology, and that's why we start off with theology first. So let us know, what is your thoughts about the Islamic concept of Tawheed, of the unity of God, and what do you believe as a Hindu?
Well, in one God, yes, that makes sense, but that wouldn't alone sell me Islam, because
so would you say God is the only one worthy of worship? That there is absolutely nothing worthy of being worshipped except God?
Yes, that's fine. That I don't have a problem with that.
Okay. And do you believe God is nothing like the creation and not within the creation?
That's going a bit deep. I wouldn't, I'm not used to these discussions, so I wouldn't really like to say.
Okay, so I would say from an Islamic perspective, that's very important, right? So it's not simply the case that, okay, we believe in one God. If you believe God is within the universe, God is within us, and that, you can have these avatars, you can have these type of reincarnations happening on earth, and, there's a deification of creation, then that would all undermine us having this reverence of God, right? So this is central to the Islamic claim that there is nothing within the universe that is God, and that God is beyond, he's transcendent of the universe. And, from your own personal beliefs as a Hindu, what do you believe about God?
Yeah, that's a different point. I'm an agnostic, by the way. I'm a Hindu, but I'm an agnostic.
Sure.
I don't want to take too much of your time.
Sure.
Sorry, I forgot what you said then.
Okay, so do you believe God is within the creation, or you don't, or you're not sure?
That's a different point. But I'll make my main point, then we can talk about this. The things I was sold about Islam, which turned out to be not to be true. That's why I'm not a Muslim.
Jay.
Okay, so I just want
Sabur,
to
one second, Sabur.
Sure.
Jay, sorry to butt in there. Jay, so you know the scientific advancements that the West made, like you said, the Muslims got their technology from the West. You mentioned that earlier. Is that correct?
Yes, well, they said, Islam, do you believe in science? And I say, yes, I believe in science.
Yeah.
And they said Islam is full of science,
Okay. Jay.
which turned out to be a lie.
Okay, if you say so, Jay. Jay, look, you mentioned earlier that the Muslims actually get all their technology from the West. Did you say that earlier?
Yes, that's right.
So is the West God?
No.
So no, but what is your? Do you look, Jay? My point is quite clear, and that is that you mentioned earlier that the Muslims get all the technology from the West. So that somehow, in your view, makes that superior. That's what you mentioned. So
yeah, that's right. I didn't say they were God. I'm just saying that.
No. My simple point, if you just let me finish, Jay, is that if you're mentioning that the West somehow has technologically advanced, as you say, yeah, or we get our technology from them, the Muslims, yeah. So then somehow that holds some kind of power in your eyes. I mean, like, what does that mean? So if the masses of the West are atheists or they're Christian, does that make atheism correct or Christianity correct? I mean, by the way, I don't agree with your mention of the technology. If we go back in time, we'll see who was technologically advanced. But anyway, does that make atheism or Christianity correct? So the guy who makes Suzuki, he knows about God.
No, my point was original, that Muslims I knew, they were all making out that everything comes from Quran and Islam, all the science, all the technology,
the problem,
all that. If I can just finish.
Yeah, please.
But in reality, nothing really comes from the Muslim world. Apparently, Spain has written more books than all the Muslim countries together. If you have all these wonderful things in the scriptures, why aren't you advancing? That was my point.
Yeah, if I can just briefly respond to this. Jay, how old are you, if you don't mind me asking to begin with?
30.
Okay, very good. So let's claim that Spain has written more books. Do you mean the modern Spain Republic after General Franco, or do you mean during the Conquista period?
So I wouldn't know the exact years, but there was like.
Okay, so the thing is,
if I just finish,
Jay,
if I just finish,
I asked you a question.
Not me saying this. I'll just. This is.
Jay, let Ijaz just go with his train of thought. Ijaz, Jay, if you just hold on.
The reason I asked you that question was because when someone makes grand claims, I know that they've not looked at the data. So when you tell me you cannot tell me when that time is from, I have no problem with that, right? But just to be clear here, if you have any history in manuscripts, and that is my speciality, right? It is Muslims that preserve the writings of the Greek and the Romans, and especially the Egyptians themselves as well. We were the ones that used our own wealth, and we translated and we preserved the literary works that passed down today. So example, Josephus, a work of history transmitted by Muslims, Arabic manuscripts. You look at the writings of Plato and Aristotle, again, preserved in Arabic manuscripts primarily. So when someone makes a claim like this, I find it a bit absurd. I mean, when we look at the modern numerical system, I'm sure the brothers here can back this up. It's the Arabic Hindu numeral system. We had a coalescence of our cultures to bring about this change of knowledge. I also want to point out your argument, if I'm just being honest about it, seems to be quite silly from the perspective of, well, modern Muslims today don't seem to be as advanced as other people, and you mix this up with the claim that you've heard from people, some magical Muslims, that tell you all claims of science come from the Quran. As far as I'm aware, no studied Muslim makes such a claim. So if we're going to raise nonsense claims with nonsense ideas, I can do the same about Hindu history. And there you go. Goodbye. Thank you.
Okay.
Brothers, I'm gonna inshallah go because I have to help.
Oh my days! It's 7:45. We were supposed to be wrapping up at 7.
I have to help the missus in the kitchen. I'm the sous chef. I'm the dishwasher. I'm the dishwasher, the chopper, washing the vegetables. I do the unimportant labor work.
We're going to be going as well soon in the next 5-10 minutes max.
So inshallah, Jazakallah khair, Naveed, for inviting me, and Jazakallah khair, brother Ijaz, brother Sabur, brother Shabir. Always wonderful to mashallah meet you guys.
Likewise.
And brother Shabir, every time I see you, the first thing I remember now is barbecue. Steak.
That's on, inshallah. So once we are all on, the invite is going to go.
It's imprinted on my mind. I associate Shabir Yusuf with barbecue now. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Excellent. Excellent. Well, Mike.
Let's quickly get let me just quickly speak. Is that Claudia? Are you a Christian? Claudia? You're muted, Claudia.
Yeah.
You have to unmute yourself. I know Marcus is a Christian. Marcus, just bear with us one moment. Claudia, are you there? Can you hear us? You're on mute, so you need to unmute yourself. No? Okay. Marcus, welcome to the show. Marcus, I'm just going to make you aware we were supposed to end at 7:30. It's 7:46. So we only have a very short amount of time, yeah? So do bear with us. And sorry?
I'll try my best as fast as I can. So my question is mainly toward Ijaz. But I want to say, first of all, thank you for doing this. And I agree with you. Christianity is Christmas is a pagan holiday. As a Christian, I myself, I don't celebrate it. So I just wanted to say that on that part. And Ijaz, I just had a question. I believe in Surah chapter 5, verse 46, it says, "And we sent Jesus in their footsteps, the son of Mary, confirming in what became before them in the Torah, and we gave him the gospel, which has guidance on that, and confirming that which preceded it of the Torah as guidance and instruction for the righteous." So my question is, if the Dead Sea Scrolls predate Jesus by 300 years, and the Torah, according to the Bible, Jesus had the right Torah, therefore, wouldn't that mean we also have the correct Torah?
No, that would not be correct. There's a simple reason for this as well, and I don't know if we have enough time, but I'll just run through it very quickly. Hopefully I can get like 3 minutes to finish this point. So in the first place, Allah says what he revealed, not what people claimed to be revelation from him. This is from Quran Surah 2 ayah 79, Quran Surah 6 ayah 91, which points out that they wrote documents themselves and claimed it to be from God. When you look at the corpus of what the Essenes had at the Dead Sea, they had additional works and I think Marcus left, like the community scroll and other scrolls as well, the war scroll as well, which had other beliefs different from what we understand to be that the Pharisaical or the Masoretic Jews would have used for their version of the Torah. So it doesn't matter when the Dead Sea Scrolls are from. Modern Jews today don't even use that. The same Pharisaical Jews at the time of Jesus used a form of the Torah which, as we know, do not exist. How do I know that? The Christian scholar Dr. Michael Brown, in his fourth volume of the work Answering Jewish Objections to Christianity, points this out. There is no one Torah and there's no one Torah tradition. In fact, in order to arrive at Christian beliefs, he argues one must read the Syriac, they must read the Samaritan, they must read the Masoretic, they must read the Greek Septuagint, they must read multiple versions of the Torah to end up with the beliefs that Christians have today. So at the end of the day, no, the Quran is quite clear. I will also end with the point that I can give one evidence that the Torah of today is not the Torah that Jesus would have had access to. First Clement, which is a letter written in the 1st century of Christianity, and in addition, the letter of Hebrews, both of them use a variant unique to, I think it's Hebrews chapter 1, which is distinct from any Old Testament, in the Greek form, at least in circulation, thus demonstrating that we cannot find in the modern versions of the Greek Greek Old Testament today the form of the text that you believe in. So at the end of the day, your text proved the claim for me, and your scholars like Dr. Michael Brown also proved the claim for me. So I would suggest you look more into this. I would also add that there's a wonderful work by called the Brill Vitas Testamentum. I forget the Jewish scholar's name. Dr. Emmanuel Tov, and it's a wonderful edition that breaks down the multiple traditions of the Hebrew Bible in whatever languages they still survive in, and as far as we can tell, they do not match a singular tradition, but reflect a multiplicity of traditions from an origination point of which we cannot verify. So thank you for the question, and I will be more than happy to bill you for my time.
MashaAllah.
Okay. Brother Ijaz, if I was the questioner, I would have just taken the Shahada after what you just said.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. There was actually mentioning Shahada, there was actually a